Hello, I'm Edgar Kramer from SoundStage Australia, and today I'm going to talk to you about a new product from Perreaux Audio, the 200iX integrated amplifier. Now, Perreaux Audio is a very interesting company from New Zealand, started by Peter Perreaux in the mid-1970s. They built a reputation for being superbly reliable and unbreakable almost. In fact, if you go to Perreaux Audio's website, you'll see some images of amplifiers being thrown off the back of trucks and drop off the rooftops and all sorts of things. And the hint there, with some humour, the hint there is that these amplifiers will continue to work after very, very harsh conditions. So they started off by building a Class A integrated amplifier, like I say, back in the 1970s, aimed at the consumer market and with a reputation for also sounding very, very good. However, they started building products for sound reinforcement and the studio space, as well as consumer at the same time. So it was a parallel development of products that Perreaux Audio came out with. Probably in the last decade, Perreaux Audio went through a little bit of a lull. I wouldn't say dormant, but they went through a quiet period. But now the company in the last few years has launched with a very, very strong, growing portfolio of products. And like I said, I'm looking at the 200iX integrated amplifier, which has a whole stream of features. I'll be talking about those, Bluetooth streaming, all sorts of inputs, digital and analog. Anyway, I'll run you through those in a second. First, I'm going to run you through a point of difference for these particular Perreaux products, which the integrated amplifier range, of which I'm looking at the 200iX, like I said, and some of the power amplification products as well. These products are not only beautifully built, but Perreaux wants to bring in colour back to, if not back, but into hi-fi. And you can probably see just behind me, there's a purple looking amplifier. That's the 200iX. And you can basically order your amplifier in whatever colour you like, in automotive gloss type colours. The company's even done a kind of like a rainbow version, which has a whole 5 or 6 different tones, and you can select that, or you can select any of those tones, or you can come up with your own colour to match your Ferrari outside or your Toyota outside or whatever. But yeah, it's bringing kind of a colour into hi-fi, and this reflects even into the packaging the products come in. So the boxes aren't plain cardboard, they're colourful, and just an element of fun, I suppose. It doesn't really cost extra in terms of producing the product itself, but if you want black or silver, you can get that. But if you want something a little bit more lively, it's available for you if you like that. As the name implies, the 200iX is a 200 watts per channel integrated amplifier, and that's into 8 ohms. It's got a solid power supply, 665 VA toroidal transformer, 54,000 microfarads of capacitance. So it's a MOSFET design. It's well built. It's got the MOSFET sort of sound signature, which is warmish, with a full bass and so on. And that's what I found in my listening sessions. Now, as far as the amplifier's features, it's got a whole heap, which are controllable via a dedicated Perreaux Audio app, which works very well and seamlessly, or include a remote control, and you can actually see what's going on via an OLED display on the front panel. Now, it's got built-in Class A headphone amplifier, which you can tailor via the menus to low and high impedance headphones. It's got built-in SoundStage with moving magnet and moving coil capabilities. It has a whole stream of analog inputs, including balanced and unbalanced. It has SPDIF, AES EBU, USB, and Toslink digital inputs. And it's got a Bluetooth streaming capabilities. So you can, for example, what I did with my iPhone 12 Pro is with the Tidal app, I just streamed to the amplifier, and it was faultless. It worked every time, didn't drop out. The amplifier has a small antenna on the back panel, and yeah, it worked really well. So it's got the capabilities of being quite a comprehensive hub for your system. In addition to all that, the built-in digital to analog converter is a Sabre Pro 9038, and that is an 8-channel digital or DAC chip, which has been reconfigured to provide 2 channels. And that chip has a very good reputation as a really good sounding chip. So they haven't skimped. And the 200AX has a bigger brother, which I'm not reviewing at this stage, but may happen in the future, which is the 300AX. So if you've got very insensitive speakers, and you needed the extra power, there's an option there to go for the extra power of the 300IX. Being a Class AB MOSFET amplifier with that generous amount of heat sinking either side of the amp, the amp runs cool, and it's very, very reliable. It's solid in terms of how it presents sound. My speakers can be a little bit tricky. They're fairly sensitive, but they can be a little bit tricky in the bass region in terms of the impedance load. And the Perreaux didn't suffer in any way. It's a lively sound with good bass. It's not huge bass like a big Class A amplifier can give you, but it's solid, it's tight, and it's detailed. Same for the mid-range and the top end, which is sweet. So overall, aside from the fact that it's got so many features, it's a generous features list, it's a good performer. And you've got the option of the colors. Why not go for pink or yellow or white? Going back to the connectivity of the 200IX, there's a home theater loop, which I may have not mentioned earlier. There's also triggers via 3.5mm jack, infrared input-output connectors as well via mini jack, and there's a preamp output option, which gives you the choice of connecting to a more powerful or a different sounding power amplifier and using the preamp section, which is very good, of the 200AX to drive an extra power amplifier for various reasons. You could be wanting to bi-amp a pair of speakers, or purely just to get a different flavor of amplification for your speakers. So that's the Perreaux Audio 200IX integrated amplifier. Stay tuned for the review to come out probably in the next week and a half or 2 weeks, and thank you for watching.